Midnight. Neon. The casino hums like a stomach, slow, hungry, and always waiting to decide who eats tonight. He came in with a single envelope, 3 crisp $100 bills, $300 that to most players reads like a night of small risk and small dreams. To him, that $300 was a plan. This is the story of how a disciplined, patient player turned a micro roll into 10 grand in a single stretch. A night of calculated aggression, timing, and enough courage to fold when it mattered. If you've ever wondered whether it's possible to flip a small bankroll into real money without reckless luck, listen close. The setup. Pick the right venue. Not every table can make a $300 bet feel like rocket fuel. Our player, call him Marcus, a composite of players who've actually done this in the real world, didn't sit down at a jumbo high roller table. He didn't chase glamour, he found an edge. In 2025, the smart money knows. Edge comes from structure. Marcus scanned the rooms, soft cash games, short-handed tournaments with overlay, and live jackpot sight and goes where recreational players dominated. He picked a $50 buy-in turbo with rebuys and a late-night $1,000 deep-stacked ring game with a soft field. The math, he could parlay a freebie satellite or a lucky rebuy into a deep run. Lesson 1, you don't need the biggest stakes, you need the right ones. Bankroll rules. Good risk, bad risk. $300 is a fragile thing. Anyone who treats it like an infinite bankroll is a fast learner and a fast loser. Marcus followed strict rules. He allocated $200 for the cash table, where he knew his edge, and $100 for tournament speculation. He set hard stop losses. If he lost $150 at cash, he walked. If the tournament rebuy window cost more than $50 and he was down, he folded. Why does this matter? Because flipping $300 into $10,000 isn't a single miraculous hit. It's a sequence of smart decisions that protect the core roll while letting you take calculated shots. The first spark, extracting value. By 9 p.m., Marcus was playing a short-handed 1-2 with recreational players who limped way too much. He tightened, opened with value, didn't bluff to impress. In micro and small stakes games, the single best weapon is value extraction, getting small edges repeatedly until they compound. Within 2 hours, a series of small but correct calls and thin river value bets turned $200 into $700. The magic wasn't a single hand. It was a relentless focus on small edges, a player overcalling on showdown, a river bet getting paid, a tilt-induced shove from a drunk opponent. It's boring until it's not. The leap, a tournament with overturn potential. With $700 in the pocket, Marcus shifted to the $1,000 deep stack tournament. Why waste chips at cash when a tournament offers exponential returns? He'd prepped for weeks. He'd practiced shove-fold math, late regime strategy, and bubble dynamics. Most importantly, he knew when to be a hunter and when to be a farmer. At midnight, with blinds swelling and the table tight, Marcus found a spot. 18 big blinds, button open shove common, players calling wide from the blinds. He picked his spots, a series of well-timed all-ins with hands that held good fold equity and decent showdown value. He doubled up early with ace-queen versus, ace-jack, then again when pocket jacks held versus a suited Broadway. By 2 a.m., that $100 speculative chunk was $2,400. The $700 cash buffer meant he could keep applying pressure without panic. The high-stakes moment, recognizing a real opportunity. Here's the brutal truth. Turning $300 into $10,000 depends on one moment, the ability to recognize and seize a true, low-variance opportunity. At 3:15 a.m., the tournament reached the money bubble. Players tightened. Prize jumps made calling a shove suicidal. The table's dynamics suddenly favored the patient aggressor. Marcus had 35 big blinds and the table had 3 players with 8 to 12 big blinds. The math gave him the leverage. He pickpocketed a few folds with targeted raises, then shoved from the button with a marginal ace-10 suited, a move designed to pressure the shorter stacks and steal blinds. One called with K9 and lost on the runout. Marcus doubled to 6,000. Heart racing, he kept his rules. No hero calls, tight aggression, and fold when the math screamed no. The river when the math meets courage. The real swing came with a classic coin flip spot. Heads up all in with 20 big blinds. Marcus shoved his shorter stack. The opponent called with pocket eights. Marcus tabled AK. The flop gave him an ace. The crowd at the table woke up. The pot swelled. He'd gone from $300 to near $10,000 with a combination of shove timing, positional aggression, and honest courage. Is that luck? Partially. But the truth is this: luck favors the prepared. Marcus engineered the conditions where variance could be maximized for him, not against him. The strategy behind the madness. By the time the tournament reached its final 30 players, Marcus wasn't the best player at the table, but he was the most adaptable. That's what separates winners from wishful thinkers. Most players freeze when the money bubble bursts. They get cautious, scared to bust, desperate to ladder up. Marcus did the opposite. He went into what poker pros call ICM attack mode, exploiting players who care too much about surviving and not enough about winning. He didn't recklessly shove every hand. He picked spots against medium stacks who couldn't risk tangling without a monster. It's a tightrope. Push too hard and you blow your stack. Play too soft and you die by blinds. Marcus used table awareness like radar, identifying who was risk-averse, who was tilted, and who was secretly waiting for him to fall apart. That's the secret weapon in poker nobody teaches: pattern reading under pressure. The hand everyone remembers: the final three tables. Blinds 50,000 to 100,000. Marcus sits on a 4.2 million stack. A young pro, Ethan Iza, stacks Lawson, a regular from Texas, opens from middle position with pocket queens. Marcus on the button looks down at pocket kings. The poker gods love irony. Lawson raises to 250,000. Marcus flat calls to disguise strength. The flop comes Q7K, top set for Marcus, middle set for Lawson. The commentators would call it a cooler from hell. Both check. The turn, 8. Lawson leads small, 400K. Marcus just calls again. He's controlling the pot, waiting for maximum damage. River, 5. Lawson goes all in, 3.5 million effective. Marcus snap calls. The table gasps. Set over set, one of the rarest, cruelest cooler situations possible. Marcus rakes in a 9 million chip pot. Lawson sits frozen, smiling the kind of smile that hides heartbreak. That's poker. And that's how a $300 bankroll became $10,000 in one moment. Not through luck, but through discipline that earned opportunity. How he kept from tilting. Here's what most players don't realize. Winning big early is actually dangerous. After a massive pot, adrenaline spikes. Ego whispers. You start thinking you're untouchable. Marcus had seen this before. Players double up, then play garbage hands because they feel hot. So he took a 10-minute walk, reset his breathing, ordered black coffee, reviewed his stack size and ICM chart. Because that's the difference between a heater and a blow-up, whether you can emotionally reset between highs. By the time he returned, he'd refocused. While others stared at chip stacks like treasure, he thought about expected value and risk control. That's how you turn a story of luck into a system of longevity. The final table, it's 5:40 a.m., 8 players left. The casino smells like cold fries and adrenaline. First place, $10,000. Second, $6,400. Marcus sits third in chips, but everyone's tired. He switches gears from calculated aggression to exploitative observation. One opponent, Jenny Jet Alvarez, a strong but emotional player, started folding too often after losing a flip. Marcus targeted her blinds mercilessly. Another player was overbetting to compensate for fear. Marcus trapped him twice with slow plays. By 7 a.m., only 3 remained. Marcus was chip leader. The final hand came like poetry. He's dealt an ace of spades and a king of spades on the button. Short stack shoves 11 big blinds with ace-jack. Marcus snap calls, board runs K9 327, clean run out. Lights, cheers, exhaustion. After 7 hours, his $300 had become $10,400. The night he walked out of that casino, the sun was rising over the parking lot. He didn't scream. He didn't post it online. He just sat in his car, hands shaking, staring at the chip racks. $10,000. The same hands that had once folded away $5 sight and goes were now holding a 5-figure win. What changed wasn't the cards. It was the discipline to respect variance, the focus to exploit opportunity, and the humility to stay hungry. He turned $300 into $10,000 in a single night. But the real jackpot wasn't the money. It was proof that skill meets destiny only when you stay in the game long enough to deserve it. If you love this breakdown, hit like, drop a comment with your craziest poker story, and subscribe for more deep dives into the wild world of poker strategy, risk, and redemption. Because sometimes the smallest bankroll carries the biggest story.